you have questions for insurance questions like this? What can I do today about my health insurance costs? Or how about this question? Well, I work for an Arkansas-based company. Am I stuck with their high group insurance, or can I do something else? The answers to these questions and more will be answered tonight on Understanding Insurance. It's Thursday, April 25th, 2019, and welcome to Understanding Insurance, a video blog brought to you by Guyor Insurance Agency and IBU. I appreciate you guys joining me today. I hope that you have, get my buttons pushed here so you can see me. I hope that you've had a good week so far. I know today was a little bit of a rainy day. Got rid of some of that pollen, but I appreciate you joining me tonight, and we're going to dive right into it. My name is David Guyor, and I'm the owner of Guyor Insurance Agency and the marketing director and manager for IBU, which stands for Insurance Benefits Unlimited. And the purpose of this video blog, but first, today's topic, we're going to talk about healthcare. What can I do to save some money? So that's going to be our topic today. But the purpose for this weekly video blog, I want to help and educate. I want to prove to you that I want to be your insurance agent. And let's call it kind of a concierge. And those of you who have seen me before or seen the last couple video blogs, I've put this little logo up. This was actually from a USA TV series back in the 90s called, well actually 2000s, called Royal Pains. And what the purpose of this is I want to be your, let's call it concierge, as an insurance agent. And if you remember the character on this TV show, Hank Lawson, he was a brilliant doctor who basically lost a patient on an operating table, and so he goes and sees his brother out at the Hamptons. His brother's name was Evan, and they went to a party. He was out there taking a break, went out to a party, saved a millionaire's life, and became kind of a concierge for the rich and famous. And again, that is kind of the reason for this video blog, is I want to be your insurance agent. I want to educate you, but I also want to be your agent. And the reason why is because when you call, you're not going to get a receptionist or anybody else. You're going to get me. I'm your agent. And as you all know, we have multiple products now. Each consumer owns car insurance, home insurance, maybe a life policy, health insurance. So the point is your agent should be very important to you, with probably a third, maybe a fourth of your income going out to all these different insurance products. And so what we are seeing today is more agents getting involved in selling than they are in servicing. And that's why they have what we call CSRs in this industry, and they service our clients. Well, I don't have one anymore. I have myself doing it, because I have learned that I want to walk hand in hand with my clients through all their insurance problems, and you can only do that is if you have a small enough book of business, but yet if you have one's entire book of insurance business. And since I am licensed to sell group health, individual health, and P&C products, home, car, that type of stuff, I want to be your agent. And so that's the story. That's what I want to do for you. So this video blog is, like I said, is to educate y'all. It's a weekly blog and to make you aware of any insurance news or anything that might affect you in the insurance realm. And in doing so, what I like to do is get to our next step, which is insurance news that matters. So what is in our insurance world today? Well, let me tell you, when I was putting this thing together, I had a little bit of I spent a lot of time researching to figure out what to say on this show, and especially when it comes to the insurance news, because there's a lot going on. I mean, we all kind of know a little bit about the health insurance thing, but I'm just going to get right into this, into the insurance news, and try not to get on a soapbox that lasts too long, because it's 8:08 and I still want to teach you guys something about insurance. So let's get right to it. AID, that stands for the Arkansas Insurance Department, has recovered, they're bragging on themselves, $2.8 million for Arkansans in 2018. So the Arkansas Times reports that Arkansas Insurance Department staff for their work in protecting consumers by securing $12,836,501 in recovery in 2018. And what this is this is a report that the primary mission of the Arkansas Insurance Department is for consumer protection, and our commissioner saluted the workers of the Consumer Service, Legal, and Criminal Investigation Divisions for their diligent work in securing millions to recover and restoration for the Arkansas consumers. And so basically, what we're talking about specifically is there were quite a bit of monies out there with these life insurance companies. And what our Arkansas commissioner has found is that they can recover some of these monies, and there's always some part to why people do what they do, but ultimately insurance companies collect money from you, the consumer. They hang on to it. If someone, let's say a great-grand aunt of yours has passed away and she's in a different state, and let's say she lives here and y'all somewhere else, and that life policy is not turned in and actually used, then these monies stay with the life insurance company. So a lot of commissioners in the different states have decided to come up with ways to get that money from the life insurance companies. They look at it as it's you, the consumer, and they're here as a governmental agency to protect y'all. And so that is the reason, but also is if you don't come and claim it, then they get to keep it. So there's always a side note to why people do what they do. But I'm not trying to knock the insurance commissioner or the commission for what they do. But here what you can do is go out to the ADI Insurance or Arkansas Insurance Commission's website and look for this life insurance policy locator. And what you do is you basically say, yes, I'm this person, and I have tried diligently to try to find if there's any monies out there in these people's name, and the insurance commissioner can help you see if there's any money out there. There is an 800 number. It's 800-852-5494. I should have put that up on the screen for you. But like I said, just go to the Arkansas Insurance Commissioner's website and you can get further information about that. The next thing, we talked a little bit last week about Oxycodone. Wow. That's all I can say is wow. I'm going to get this magazine I just got in today. This is a huge outbreak. And what I mean by outbreak is I've got a good friend of mine who's in the, we'll call it the law enforcement business. And there's a lot going on with the Oxycodone, so I'm going to stay focused. So we talked a little bit last week about Oklahoma was one of many states that is jumping on and wanting to sue the pharmaceutical companies that they feel have mislabeled certain pain medications that has oxycodone in it, and that is the reason why we've got such an outbreak and deaths. I mean, this friend of mine was telling me that I guess there was over 330 some odd deaths in Pulaski County alone with overdose that had this oxycodone in. So I'm going to sit here and read this here. It says, Arkansas judge refuses to dismiss claims against oxycodone drug marketers. This is an Arkansas judge rejected a request to dismiss the state's lawsuit against 3 drug makers that alleges they made false marketing claims about benefits and risk of oxycodones, contributing to an increase in opium abuse that has led to overdose deaths. Like I said, a friend of mine that's in the law enforcement business basically said that there was about 130 some odd deaths, and that's unfortunate. But it goes on. It says thousands of similar lawsuits are pending nationwide against dozens of drug makers, and Purdue recently, which is a drug, one of the pharmaceutical companies that put out one of these drugs, has recently settled such a lawsuit with the state of Oklahoma for $270 million. Well, this week our Attorney General announced a lawsuit against 3 of these opioid distributors, and I did find this on the internet. I want to play it for you, and let me get it bigger. I'm going to put this thing on pause and push this little button and see if I can't get it bigger for y'all. There we go. And
I think what we must address now, what we're talking about, is the face of the drug dealer. The face of the drug dealer has changed. What we used to envision as a questionable character, perhaps being in a van down by the river, is now a 75, 80-year-old grandmother leaving her medications out on that kitchen counter for a teenage grandchild to get into. Maybe it's that granddaughter that tore her ACL during a soccer game, who's been prescribed 30 prescription pain meds and has taken.
And so what we're hearing here is basically our Attorney General, Leslie Rutledge, has filed a lawsuit in the Pulaski County courts against opioid distributors. One of them was the Car Intel Health, McCassins Corporations, and the Mara Source Bargain Drug Corporation. And Rutledge says that the state wants the companies to identify and to stop suspicious shipping. So apparently our AG is wanting them to identify that they are what this opium is in the drugs that is addictive, and to stop some kind of suspicious shipments of drugs and their financial damages, which is basically to Arkansans. And according to Rutledge, these 3 wholesaler distributors control 85% of the national's opioid market shares and collectively makes more than, here's the big one, they make, how shocking, $375 billion, that's a B, billion in annual revenue. So Rutledge said that the state is not seeking any specific dollar amounts, yeah, whatever, in damages in the lawsuit, but if the state receives any judgment, can anybody remember the tobacco drug lawsuits? But if we receive any judgments or research a settlement or reach a settlement with the defendants, the money would be put back into the state. Well, like I said, I get kind of caught up in these things, and you know, it's not conspiracy, but a lot of people don't understand how business works. And this is, folks, this is all going down to insurance. Okay, everything is like putting you ever see a pond, and it's a pond like glass, and you touch it and there's little ripples start. Well, that's kind of what's going on here. And so the discussion, I've kind of got some notes down here, says we have a pill popping society. Doctors prescribe them, people take them. I could remember years ago when Walter Cronkite used to be the main anchorman on CBS, and I remember back in the day talking about how Americans would become pill poppers, and that's exactly what we've come to. And it's like, and again, just kind of understand, I'm leading us to this one thing. It's like this Facebook scandal that's going on. If a large company like this Purdue and these other opiate drug makers that make these pain medicines that put this, quote, addictive drug in there, that if they're a large company, of course they must have lots of money. Well, they do, but then they also have liability insurance. So here's where we're tying insurance in. So large companies make lots of money. They have insurance products, liability, product liability. They have products that are purchased through a for-profit industry, which is the insurance business. And we have lawsuits are paid in part by these insurance companies. So like, being specific on these companies, and I'm not trying to take sides, but if the government, on behalf of us consumers, and they care for us, the government cares for us, if they go and sue these pharmaceutical companies, which they possibly could be at fault, but the problem is the pharmaceutical companies make a drug that they solicit it to the doctors give it to us, and us, the consumer, has to be mindful of what we do with that. And to stay kind of focused in it, when I was doing my research, I found that this company, Purdue, which is one of the makers, was really shocked to find this. Let me get my slide up here. Right here. They have, I don't know if you can see this lawsuit, Purdue, they're preparing to possibly file bankruptcy, and this was on March 5th of 2019. They just paid Oklahoma $270 million in a lawsuit that the insurance company, I'm sure, paid for some of that. And so to kind of wrap this whole thing up, insurance rates are all connected in some way or form. We do have a problem with overdose of medications that have opiate pods, or however that stuff works. And so who really ends up paying at the end of this? The companies are for profit, and the consumer, through inflated rates, our insurance rates are going to eventually go up as well. And remember that the government's lawsuits against the tobacco company, I remember selling a product here that Arkansas, when we won like $300 million, was what Arkansas was awarded. They took that money, our local government took that money and started a health plan for small groups. And I remember going out to pizza shops and daycares and soliciting this health insurance plan. It was very affordable. I think you paid $25, and I think I actually got on it because it was for healthy people, but at least it paid for like 6 doctor visits and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, Obamacare, or the ACA law, stepped in and extinguished all of that, and so the monies that was left over, which our state said, well, we really didn't have any money left over, but they did, and it just went in the general fund. So that's where I'm just kind of being cautious, is that when we have a government that has multiple regulations and mandates, they impose that on companies to protect us consumers. But yet the opium problem is also regulated by the DEA. The DEA, which is our federal government, is who says who gets that opium pod and makes the pharmaceuticals that has that drug in it. So I don't know. You kind of see where I'm going. So I'm just going to read my notes. It says, who was really to blame for the health issues for smokers? And that was back on the tobacco thing. I mean, again, us consumers, we have to be, remembrance of we have free choice, we do whatever we want, but there's always a repercussion, and everybody's got to help pay. And society screams loud, the government steps in to protect the society, then the government regulates and mandates companies, and then the government gets settlement money for society, but then the government keeps some of it, and lobbyists end up paying politician campaigns, and the cycle continues. So either way, I'll get off the soapbox real quick, but that is basically the news today. and we'll just keep moving on. So let me go to today's topic, which was, let me get over here. Sorry guys, I'm pushing buttons and talking too much. But our topic today was healthcare and what can I do to save some money? So first thing is healthcare. What can I do to save some money? I know we've talked about healthcare in recent video blogs, but like I said, this weekly blog and these topics that I come up with really come from y'all. It's not from me. It's through the day, through the week, that when clients call or potential clients call and they ask questions, I want to pose those things to y'all in this video blog and at least educate you on what I've taught them or what I've learned through it, and then hopefully everybody wins at the end. And again, this week we're going to talk. I had talked and actually met with someone earlier this morning about their health care, and I was very happy. You know, he got a good education, and I was glad to have help. But first, I want to answer our question, which the first question I posed at the early part of this blog is let's answer that one question: is what can I do today about my health care cost? Well, here's the thing we have now available is you've got the marketplace, which is the healthcare.gov, and that is really only open to do business between November 1st to December 15th. So if you're looking for a healthcare plan outside, if you don't have a group health plan offered, that was really the only way you could get insurance. Well, now we have the limited duration, and this is one of the products that Blue Cross Blue Shield had offered. And so we really have three things that you have to consider. Do I want to pass my health insurance costs to someone else? So again, we're answering the question, what can I do today about my health insurance costs? Why does it cost me, or how can I save money on this health insurance plan? So you got to think about this. Do I want to pass my health insurance costs to someone else, which will cost a little bit higher rate? Or do I want to share in some of that health insurance cost, which would be a little bit less? And then, where am I at? So remember, one of the things that President Trump has done is we have no penalty. For 2019, you do not have a penalty imposed on you if you do not have an ACA plan. If you don't have one of these health care plans, if you don't have to buy it there. Let me tell you, folks, it's expensive, but it's expensive, but it pays. You know, it's unlimited. You could have diabetes, heart disease, any of that stuff, and you'll be covered. And so with the Trump administration, they were trying to do away with the ACA law, which forced and penalized Americans for not having a plan, a health plan. Now that that has really not gotten any further with the Trump administration, but with the health insurance companies trying to combat what was possibly going to happen with the ACA plan going away, they came up with like this one, the limited duration. And it's a great plan. And this is kind of going with that question I just answered, which is you can impose some of the cost on yourself, which will lower your monthly outgoing on your health care plan. So this was, just one of the slides that I found with Blue Cross Blue Shield. They always had a short-term plan, but the Complete and the Complete Plus is that duration plan. And as you can see, the money it's not that expensive. It's just like anything else. You can do a you have a deductible, you have your co-insurance pay, and you've got your out-of-pocket expenses. So these were great plans. So then we go into the next part of this question, which is, do you work for someone who offers a health insurance plan, or do you have, or upon yourself, do you want to buy a health plan outside that group plan? Because again, with the Trump administration, he took away that penalty, so you don't have to have an ACA plan, and an individual can go buy health insurance through their workplace as well. And that's the next question that we're going to talk about, which is, what to do in that situation. I do have something else I want to cover before I forget about this on this duration plan. It says an individual can buy health insurance through the work, which is a group plan, or as an individual now with products like this limited duration plan, which is Blue Cross Blue Shield. The limited duration plan is about 2/3 less. It can be bought individually. There's no more government penalties, so you can buy this anytime. Key thing, anytime. You don't have to stay on an ACA plan, and that's kind of what I was meeting with this individual earlier. As I was trying to determine, he's on an ACA plan, we were trying to determine would it be best for him to move over to this duration plan. But after meeting with him and talking to him, he's got a prescription drug that's specialty to him, and that this plan was not going to really cover as much as the ACA plan. And when the monies came out, it was, even though the ACA plan is a little bit higher for him, in the long run, it's saving him money than to go to this duration plan. And that's kind of what I'm trying to kind of say, is that your agent, it's very important that you talk to an agent that knows a lot about these healthcare plans, because there are so many little tricks and trays to it all. And I was glad to be able to work with him on that one. But back to the question we are about to part with the group health is I'm excited to announce about something that I'm involved with IBU. But I want to answer that question, which was I'm stuck with their, well, I work with, if you work with an Arkansas-based company, are you stuck with their high group health insurance plan? And if so, what can you do? Well, the key thing is group plans are somewhat controlled by the boss man, the company. But there's something that my partner and myself have come up with, and it's called, we're kind of come up with a name, but George Wing, you know, he's the owner and founder of IBU, Insurance Benefits Unlimited. And so I'm calling it the Wing Shoppers Report. And why I call it this is because this thing is amazing. Now, how is this going to help you? Because like we were talking about, what can you do about the boss making a decision on your health care? This report, let us come and talk to your company, is what I'm getting to. This report actually shops, we shop the market. We're able to shop, like you see, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Qual Choice. We're appointed with these companies. And we take all these plans that is very confusing to your boss, and your boss is looking for leadership, and this report actually breaks it down for each company, and as this one, the analysis kind of crunches the numbers, and we're able to show side to side what, like Arkansas Blue Cross Blue Shield, the Health Advantage, Qual Choice, and then we could even go over and show what each person's specific rate would be. This is an amazing, amazing report, and you can only get it through IBU. George created this report, and he's already done all the formulas to make it all work out. We just get a census, which is from your group plan. Any health insurance group plan that you have, the insurance companies require census, which gives us your birthday, you know, how old these folks are, if they male or female, and where you live. So we would love to be able to meet with your boss. If you have somebody that you know, you own a business, or you work for a company and your group health insurance has gone out the roof, contact us above. Here's my contact information. Send me an email or give me a call, or you can even text me at that number, and let us show you this Wings Shoppers Report. Let us come in and get that census from your boss, from your work, and then we'll put that report together, come and show you, and I'm telling you, within minutes, you're going to be able to say, oh wow, we're in the wrong plan. We need to be in this one, and look how affordable it could be, more affordable, and you'll understand the coverage is a little bit more. So I hope to hear from you on that one. I know that it's 8:32, and so I've gone a little bit longer. I know I get on a little soapbox about the different on our news topics, but I'm kind of watching over this stuff. If you've watched some past video blogs, I've covered quite a bit about what has happened in Arkansas, and I hope that you find that stuff interesting. So I appreciate you watching tonight. Again, I'd love to hear from you. If you have any suggestions or questions that you want answers for, please, again, just contact me by one of those two means, and we will see you next week on Understanding